Hello, folks. Thank you very much to everyone for hopping on this morning. I have with me today, I have Mark from Mark Spence from CEF on with us today. So we're going to be discussing, first of all, a bit about CEF and what CEF do, and I'll let obviously Mark talk about that, and then talking a little bit about WorkPal and generating repeat business, as it says in the title, with job management software. So how that can be done, and how WorkPal can aid with that. So first off, I'm going to introduce Mark. So Mark, if you want to introduce yourself, tell us a wee bit about CEF.
Morning, John. Thanks very much, and thanks for setting up the webinar for members this morning. It's much appreciated. So yes, I'm Mark Spence from Construction Employers Federation. So we represent about 200 construction companies across Northern Ireland of all sizes. And really our job is to protect the interests of the industry and promote the industry. And I suppose if we're looking for recent examples of that, CEF negotiated with the executive last year for some support for the industry in terms of material cost increases. We've also been a major party behind the proposed reforms to planning, which will be very welcome in the next assembly after the election. And inputting to building regulations and lobbying on topical issues like red diesel, for example. So I suppose in a sense we try to represent all of the industry, members large and small, and beyond that the supply chain. So we're talking 30,000 direct employees in construction, John, but that actually up to 65,000 people's jobs rotate around construction. So we're a very significant industry. And here at CEF, we just try to do our piece to make sure that we best represent the industry's concerns.
Absolutely, yeah. That's 65,000. That's crazy numbers, and especially I would imagine, and you can sort of lead me on from here. But given everything this past few years with Brexit, and then with obviously COVID and the troubles that's brought, and the troubles that's brought to on-site work and everything, to have the likes of yourselves to have us back up and be there and sort of fight your corner, so to speak, I'm sure that's invaluable to construction companies and members of CEF.
Yeah, I mean, we hope we've been of some help, and certainly we're always here. We're always available for members. We get a lot of contact from members. I think one of the key things that's come out of the past 18 to 20 months is the ability to work remotely, and that's bound to be something you guys have seen an upsurge in, as well as the ability for companies to continue to operate. And construction has a very important frontline role, but obviously there's a back office function to every construction company. And when staff were less able to be in the office, the ability to do things digitally, I think, has really come to the fore. And not just for the ability to work remotely, but also the efficiencies that it can bring. And clients increasingly are looking for demonstration and evidence of efficiency and setting of targets and meeting KPIs on their contracts. So I would know that digital systems allow us to interrogate the data and provide that evidence for clients. So I think we're definitely firmly in the digital age now, John, if we weren't before.
Yeah, definitely, and you're exactly right. With the last 18 to 24 months, it's hard to believe it actually has been that long. But over that time, definitely there's been a surge for digital transformation. Really being forced to go digital, with people not being able to be in the office, as you say, and working remotely. We have definitely seen an upsurge in sort of customers coming for demos and having a look at the likes of WorkPal for exactly that, to be able to work from anywhere and still get jobs out to those, very important frontline workers, as you say, in terms of construction. They were vital throughout it, throughout the whole pandemic, but being able to do that sort of paperless and all digitally has been what we found and what our customers find absolutely invaluable. And as you say, still holding up that efficiency of service, the smoothness, keeping up to your KPIs and your SLAs, and WorkPal has definitely aided in that. So it's been really sort of pushed forward the industry that we're in into an area even quicker than sort of anyone imagined, I think.
And John,
that maybe,
yep. If a company was looking at a system like yours, doesn't have to be yours, but if they're thinking of going into this space for the first time, I mean, is there a way of doing it less big bang? Is there an incremental way of doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. We have customers on board who will start off, just putting maybe one contract onto that, rather than rolling it out for sort of business wide right away, which can be quite, intimidating. We have customers who come on board, use it and utilize it in one contract. And as they get, used to the system, obviously with the backup of our full implementation, where everyone is provided sort of very bespoke training, both desktop and mobile side, then as they get used to it and become more efficient with the system, they can see the benefit of that to both themselves in terms of getting stuff back from field, improving that efficiency and cash flow, as well as and it's kind of what we're kind of going to touch on today, that generation of repeat business. So our customers, they are seemingly really happy with the efficiency, the smoothness, upkeeping of the SLAs, and given that transparency right through to their customers, to the end customer of the services. And from that one contract that they maybe start off with, they can see the benefits across all, and then they're starting to roll that out. So definitely, a way to do that is to start it off on one contract, or one area of the business, and expand out. Definitely.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and certainly from CEF's role in the procurement board, so we'd be very closely involved with the policies around appointing successful tenders. We are
Yeah.
trying to move the balance back again to quality of delivery of service and away from lowest price. So
Yes.
all of these things build that reputation of a company with their client that they can deliver robust data and support the SLAs, as you say. So yep, steps in that direction always welcome, and I think very useful, as you say, that maybe you look at it on a contract by contract basis if you're less sure and you want to try it out and see if it works for you before you go big bang. That sounds like a useful approach.
Definitely. And with tenders, we are more than happy to assist members with tenders, in terms of, I know that a lot of tenders now, they're going out or asking for digital platforms that are reporting back into the tender holders digital platform, in terms of getting information back in, and we're really happy to help. If any of the members who are also utilizing WorkPal, or who are thinking about utilizing WorkPal maybe for a tender contract or for a contract, by all means reach out, and we're happy to help, and we've done it before. So anything we can do to help, we will.
Excellent, excellent.
So another thing just before we get started is that we also do, with Mark and CEF, we offer a CEF discount on the system. So there is a free setup. So there's a £2,000 saving to get set up. And I think that obviously as well will aid in the sort of the thought process behind going for something like WorkPal. And we're delighted to be able to introduce that with Mark and with CEF and their members. And if anyone has any questions following on from the little demonstration I'm about to provide, either contact Mark, or give us a shout, give me a shout, and Mark will also have all of our details. So if there's any questions at all, not even relating to looking at a more in-depth demo that we can do specifically for your company, if there's a question about one area of the system, or could that be used for this, any questions at all, feel free to reach out, and we are more than happy to help, myself or one of my colleagues, no problem at all. So I think next, guys, what we'll do is we will talk through sort of briefly a couple of ways in which WorkPal, or a job management software, can aid in generating repeat business. And then I'll follow that up with a quick run through of the system as well, sort of a whistle stop tour, if you may, of what information comes back into the system from a job, what information goes to a mobile, and kind of a day in the life of both Office and mobile. And Mark, as I said, if you have any questions on the way through, just feel free to stop me and point me around, especially for the benefit of your members, if you think there's questions that are relevant to them.
Certainly, I'll do that, John. Thank you.
So, I mean, when we're talking about generating repeat business really, to talk about the definition is, based upon how happy a customer is going to be on receipt of a service or completion of work, how that service has gone, how smoothly it's gone, the quality of that service, and how likely they are to come back to utilize that service again. So, talking through that, there are a number of ways, using WorkPal, for example, that keeping customers sort of happy and really smooth service to generate that repeat business can be done. So thinking about it, the efficiency of service would be the first one that would come to mind. So Being able to send the likes of a job sheet that WorkPal pre-populates in the background with job information, as you'll see. Being able to do that and get it sent straight to the customer there and then from site, from field, or after job completion in the office, and being able to send that through, and having your customer being able to sign off on that, have the likes of your proof of works photos, as you'll see on that, just really ensures that it's a really smooth process. So we have someone on site, we have a job that's being completed, and immediately our customer has that job sheet, so a reference of what work was done, who was there, the photograph capture, as I said, and any other information relating to that job. The other good thing as well is that having it coming uniform from a system like WorkPal means that no matter who's on site, I know we all have different handwriting, and my handwriting's amongst the worst. So it's always very well presented, it's very uniform, and it just really holds that high standard that you want to give to your customers. And that in turn should then encourage them to come back for that service if a service is being completed to a high standard, and very efficiently as well as smoothly. Then that will really push that repeat business. Another area sort of along the same lines of that efficiency of services, and Mark, you actually mentioned it, sort of the upkeep of those KPIs or those SLAs. And we know from our experience in the construction sector and with tenders and with specific contracts, how important in those tenders SLAs and KPIs are. And Mark, do you have anything to add about how important? I know you said you're involved in the tendering, the tender process and those sorts of things. So just how important are SLAs and KPIs in that regard?
No, it could be more important, John. I mean, they are contractual in many cases, and particularly in maintenance type, FM type contracts. So contractual KPIs can be anything the client wants them to be, but typically they'll be very much about response times and first time fixed and so on. So those are things you actually digitally have to record, because to do it any other way, and it can be done, but it's very onerous. It's very difficult to extrapolate the data. But no, the answer to your question is that they're contractual, so your contract's at risk if you don't meet the SLA,
Yeah.
and if you can't sense it easily, you're in a world of trouble.
Yeah, and we'll show that actually on WorkPal as well, is that utilizing WorkPal, you can actually set your own SLAs, and we will run through that. I know I haven't sort of shared my screen yet, but I just sort of wanted to talk through these few initial aspects, and then we'll run through those actual aspects. The other area that we'll chat about will be the client portals. So client portals, again, with likes of tendering processes, if you're working on a contract, let's say for example a housing executive, being able to give that housing executive a portal login to your system, to the likes of WorkPal, and being able to log in, see works completed, see their job sheets and photograph capture, as well as all upcoming jobs. They're also able to log those jobs in, the likes of a reactive maintenance job, and you'll be able to see, those jobs coming through into the system as well. The other area, and it actually touches on the KPIs, is that you can give, your clients the ability to run their own KPIs, their own SLA reports on the works completed on their sites. So it just really makes for that transparent relationship, making sure you're delivering a really high quality, you're meeting your contractual needs, and it's all smooth as well. So that's kind of a couple of things, just we've talked about how that's going to help generate repeat business, keeping everything smooth, keeping it to a high standard, and keeping it well presented. I'm actually now going to share my screen, and Mark, if you would be very talented aid and just let me know that you can see my screen okay.
That is visible. Yep, we're seeing your dashboard there.
Sorry, maybe here in the background there. I've got a little furry friend today, so he's just heard the postman arrive. So utilizing WorkPal then, so this is the WorkPal desktop system. So this is where jobs will be allocated out, as Mark you talked about, sort of that sort of reactive maintenance, pushing those out to the relevant parties. So the first thing I will do is I will select client, and whenever I pop into client, you can see there as well that I have a number of different areas in which my clients are grouped. So I have, and again, this is just sort of personalized to you and your business. So this could be via, a contract, as you've discussed there, Mark, or it could be via country, as I have it, domestic and commercial, postcode, anything like that. You'll then select that relevant contract group, And within that contract group, then you will have the client. So you might have, the housing executive, and you might break that housing executive down into different areas within those clients, or you might have the housing executive themselves, again, just using that as an example. Within that, you will then have the sites for that particular contract. So you'll see here I have one site. In this case, it's Canary Wharf. And all works on WorkPal will actually take place at a site level. So whenever I pop into a site, you'll see all relevant information on that site. So you'll see, and again, all of this is available to the mobile operative, with regards to directions, with regards to, site telephones, again, keeping everything in one place, making it easy for your mobile operatives and keeping it really clear as well. And then popping down, you can see there are notes as well associated with particular sites. So, in this case, Ian is the project manager on site. Again, getting information out, making it really smooth and efficient for your staff going out to do those. So, making sure that when they get there, in order to upkeep your SLAs and your KPIs, they have all of their information to hand. So when they get there, they are making sure that that job is done in time. They're not having to sort of go back to different areas and look through different information to try and get the relevant information to do the job. All of the information should be relevant. Again, we have the likes of if it's a reactive maintenance on particular assets, or if it's a reactive maintenance, in the construction side of things about going out to get a first fix done or anything like that. You can have assets or not have assets on those. So depending on your sector. We then have a closed job. So a closed job really relates to a job that has been completed on the mobile side. So what you'll see here, and again, this is something that's raised from the office side, so a job description, so door on site not opening, diagnose and fix, again reactive, and we got to get out there and get that done within our SLA. You can see here, looking at priority, we have an SLA against it. So if I just show you, you can build in your own SLAs. So these really dictate your response time. So making sure that you are hitting all of those response times. So again, popping back out into the job, other things as well that the job will capture, or the mobile side will capture on the job. Travel time, so getting your time to site, making sure that we are, utilizing that travel time efficiently, and it allows us to pull off reports, or yourselves to pull off reports and see how long our engineers or our mobile workforce are spending traveling to jobs versus on jobs. Are we scheduling them efficiently, making sure they have a chance to meet those KPIs on site as well, that we're not sending them everywhere really, and as well that time on site then. So how efficient are we being on site, as well as our efficiency of service, how efficient we are being to ourselves, and again making sure that we're not laboring on that for too long or spending too short on that job. So making sure the job's done to a high standard. We have tasks. So tasks again would be sort of the schedule of rates, as a lot of tenders will have those sort of schedule of rates and those sort of codes that you will enter upon doing a job. Likes of a housing executive will have lots of those. And those tasks can be broken down then. So a breakdown of that job. So looking at what needs to be done, and the mobile operative then can complete that. Mark, do you have any questions on what I've gone through so far on that, or anything relatable to you guys? Or
no, it's very clear on the dashboard side. I suppose just to be clear, on site, the operatives, the first responders, they would have similar or the same information on their handheld device, I assume?
That's right, yeah, and we'll actually pop onto that now in a little second, just so as you can see that sort of mobile side of things, and seeing that information that's coming through on every job, that we have all of the information there to do the job that we need to do. That's right, yeah.
I mean, just on that, I know we all complain about our 4G connections and everything, so I take it if people are out and about, it's all updated in real time from their handheld device. If they're in an area with poor reception, it just gets updated the next time they're in a reception area. Would that be the case?
That's right, yeah. So as you say, when you're in an area of reception, it will update straight away. Every action completed, task, photo, note, everything is done, is reported back into the desktop side straight away. If you are in an area of no signal or working offline, you can completely work offline on the mobile app, and it will just sort of cache that data. And once you do hit that area of signal, as you say, Mark, then it will filter that information back through. So there isn't any risk of data loss or anything like that. All data that is captured will be kept.
Very good, very good.
So again, talking just briefly about parts management. So like tasks, they can be what we call fast entry coded in. So we can take those schedules of rates and your parts list, and we can add all of those in. So as they can be added either from a desktop or a mobile, from almost like a drop-down list and a filterable list as well. So really good, you can have prices and everything associated with tasks and parts too, to make it really clear for invoicing. Popping into the likes of this task, you can see we have a price associated with it as well. We kind of touched on asset management in terms of if there's assets on site that you are as part of your tender, in terms of maintenance and all of that kind of stuff. You can actually associate assets with those particular jobs, and you can see that this asset was associated with this job. Popping down then into the bottom pane again, more information. So document management is a really good aspect on WorkPal. So documents are anything that is read-only that your operative may need information, or any sort of document. That may be a site plan, it may be, your method statement, and those can be added specifically to one job, to a contract, or to a site, and that allows that information throughput again. Keeping all that information, Mark, as you touched on the handheld for a particular job or a particular site, all that information again is there. There's no worry about, oh, I need to go and check a file for this, or I need to call the office for this. Everything is there, so as we can get, be optimal on site, get the service done to the highest standard.
So that the other thing, somewhere you keep like of an asbestos register,
yeah,
or your risk assessments, all of that stuff's there ready for the guy arriving on site.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah. So the likes of that asbestos register or any other documentation that your team or your operative on site may need to reference at any stage can be all uploaded into the system, and they can be downloaded on the mobile app as well, and sort of reviewed and everything. Yeah. And the other thing as well you can do with documentation is, the visibility levels. So you can see here we can have visibility to even put something into the client portal. So other documentation you maybe want your clients to see, or maybe you want to restrict, maybe particular information from the mobile, but show it to your client, that can also be done as well. So you can just see I select through, and then this would only be visible to my client portal for logging in. Moving on to photograph capture, and Mark, again, I'll let you come in on this one. Is photograph capture something that sort of is important for CEF members in terms of proof of works and things like that?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. I mean, it's documentary, it's very clear evidence of the before and the after.
Yes.
And I think it's almost a mandatory now with most clients and contracts. They want to see the photographic evidence because it probably saves them going out to verify as well. So it's very efficient for both parties. It's date stamped, time stamped as well. So it's very strong evidence of the work that's been carried out or the condition of the work that needs addressed. So very strong.
Exactly. And as you said, it's time stamped, it's date stamped, as you can see. And something that's actually recently released in the system, because we are developing all the time, is that when a photo is taken, you'll also get a GPS pin on a map of where that photo is taken. Again, just that extra level of accuracy, and again, talking through that efficiency and that smoothness and the level of service. Having those sorts of features as well to add to it are really good, and those can all be seen as well on the client portal, which is great. And the other thing we can do is you'll see on the mobile side, which I'm just going to pop onto in one wee second, is the ability to enforce those photos to be taken. So making sure that, the sort of Northern Irishism that everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet, as I say, everyone that goes out has to follow the same parameters in every job. So you, again, are ensuring that efficiency of service at high level and smooth for the customer as well. So again, signature on site. As with the photos, they are time stamped, they're date stamped, and we can make those mandatory. So again, capturing the customer signature, ensuring that the customer is happy with the work that's taken place. As well, what we can also do is with customer signature, given the pandemic that we've been in for the past 24 months, we have now developed contactless signature. So allowing your customer to sign off on their own device, either via scanning a QR code from your device or by sending them a link, and they can sign off on the job. Then we have the job sheet. So this is an area we talked about. So this job sheet is something that WorkPal creates in the background. So just by going out, by doing the job, so by logging my time on the job and by doing my tasks, you can see that WorkPal collates all of this together. It'll be logoed to your own business as well, so it would sort of be customer facing. Everything is branded to yourselves, and you can see all of the information relating to that, what was done, as well as the photograph capture and the signatures on it. So again, really nice, really clean cut. You don't need to worry about any sort of, again, handwriting or things being forgotten, because we're all working to that sort of same standard. So I'm actually going to pop onto the mobile side now, and again, Mark, you can let me know if you can see my mobile okay, can you?
Yes, we can. We can indeed.
Okay, perfect. So this is actually just sitting on my iPhone. Now it works in any Android or iOS tablet, and it's exactly the same on all. So it's really sort of efficient in terms of we really focus on that UI and that user interface for our customers. So making sure it's really smooth, it's really clean, it's really clear as well, and it's really easy to use. So kind of talking quickly through it there in the life of an engineer, you can see we have a start shift button. So in terms of timesheet management, this will also do those timesheets. So if I hit start shift, you can see we will have a number of levels of compliance that you can utilize or change, or not have to use, depending on yourselves and what the company sort of standards are and what you want to do. But the likes of this a vehicle check that I have to do every day. So I select the registration of the vehicle that I'm in. I'll select the mileage or write down the mileage that's in there, and I will go through and check everything. Again, just making sure that everything is working. If there are any defects, you can take a photo of that defect. Again, if I just take a quick photo of the desk in front of me. And a really good aspect of that form is that whoever's in charge of the fleet in the office will also get an automated email that I have a problem with my vehicle. And you can then access that or sort of book that in for a service in the background, and again, that will start my shift. So you can see then we have jobs. So whenever I pop into jobs, you can see I have jobs that are not started and are paused. The one we're going to concentrate on is this reactive maintenance job, you can see here. So when I pop in, again, where we talked about, Mark, with the likes of, everyone should be able to see all of the information they need to do that job. So you can see we have the job description of what's wrong. So the door on site's not opening, diagnose and fix that. We can utilize this to call site by clicking the site telephone. Again, all that information in one place. We can get directions, so it integrates with Google and Apple Maps. We can get directions right to site. And then you can see as well, we can then start our travel time. So we'll start our travel time, we'll travel to site, and again, capturing that information. Once we get to site, we'll then start our job timer. And you can see here, it'll also pop me up with a number of bits of information that I have to complete. So your COVID-19 form, a risk assessment, things like that, and that will start your job time. From there, you'll be able to see any tasks that need to be done on site. You can also see any documents like we talked about. So, I can download a document and view what that document is, like so. And again, just keeping that information all relevant and working through that, adding any parts, working on any assets that we have there, viewing all of the notes again, looking at all of that information. So that is really, in a nutshell, how the mobile side of the app works. Again, nice and clear cut, making sure that everything is really easy to access. I think you'd agree, Mark, that it's quite a clear sort of take you by the hand process in the mobile app. It's nothing too complicated.
Yeah, no, looks very intuitive.
And again, the likes of your photo capture as well as signatures. And I know we're sort of coming up to that sort of half past mark, and again, the likes of just signing off on that job and completing that job, and all of that information will be back in real time. So sort of touching back, coming full circle back to generating that repeat business. So I'm sure you can have seen from the WorkPal side of things that I've quickly run through there, how clear it is, how quickly information comes back in, the clarity of information that comes back in, and talking through all of the upkeep of SLAs and client portals. And if you do want a bit more information on any aspect that I've either talked about or shown you, again, as I said, contact Mark, and Mark can reach out to us or contact us directly. It's no problem at all. We're really happy to help in any way we can, even if it is just answering a simple question for you rather than taking you through a full demo. As I say, we're also really happy to take you through a full demo. We will make it really spoke to your business in terms of how your workflow works. We'll kind of do it as if it was you're being utilized for your business, so you can really see how it would work for you. So, again, that's just brought us up to the half-an-hour mark. I hope you have enjoyed today. Mark, do you have any other questions or anything for me or anything else to add?
No, that's been very, very helpful, Sean. Enjoyed the walk through with that. And just to remind anyone who's on the call, if they're CEF members, of course, if this is for you and you've gone through the demos and so on, don't forget to take advantage of your CEF offer with WorkPal. But no, John, that was really helpful. Thank you for sharing this morning.
Well, thank you very much for hopping on. I really appreciate it. And as I say, any questions, feel free to reach out in any way, shape, or form. Either give us a call, give Mark a call, drop us an email, any way at all. So, listen, thank you so much, folks, and I hope you found it really helpful. And I look forward to chatting to you all again soon. So, thank you very much, and stay safe. Cheers.